Geometry, Regents, June 2016. Question number 11. A 20-foot support post leans against a wall, making a 70-degree angle with the ground. To the nearest tenth of a foot, how far up the wall will the support post reach? The first step would be to draw a picture and label it. Here I have started my drawing. I have a right triangle. The black rectangle is the building. Then I have the blue segment, which is my post, which is 20 feet long at an angle of 70 degrees to the ground, which I have in green. So the post and the ground together make the 70-degree angle. I'm looking for how far up the wall the post is, which I called X. And I can see that I have a right triangle here. So since I have a right triangle, I need to think about the different ways I can solve a problem for right triangles when I'm given one of the sides and an angle, and I want to find the other side. So as we go through, we need to label our sides of our right triangle, the hypotenuse, adjacent, and opposite. Always start with hypotenuse. Label and identify that side of your right triangle first. It will always be the longest side of your right triangle and across from your right angle. So we have our blue post is the hypotenuse. Then we need to label the adjacent and the opposite side. Remember that adjacent will always make the angle that they've given you or that you're trying to find with the hypotenuse. So here we have the hypotenuse and the angle that they gave us, which was 70 degrees. So this side will be the adjacent side. Now we have the adjacent side here and the opposite side here. So we have labeled all the sides of our right triangle: hypotenuse, adjacent, and opposite. Now we need to use one of our trig functions to find the answer. So we have our SOHCAHTOA, which stands for sine is opposite over hypotenuse, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, and tangent is opposite over adjacent. So when we look at this, we know the hypotenuse, so we immediately know it must be either sine or cosine we're going to use because we have the hypotenuse. And the side we're trying to find is an opposite. So I need to use the one that uses opposite and hypotenuse. So that one would be the first one, sine, which is opposite over hypotenuse. So we have our sine, which is opposite over hypotenuse. This means we have the sine of 70 degrees is equal to x over 20. So to solve this, it's x divided by 20, which means we want to multiply both sides by 20 to isolate the x. So multiply both sides of the equation by 20, and we'll get 20 equals the sine of 70 degrees. If you type that in your calculator, make sure you're in degree mode first, you should end up with 18.8 after you round to the nearest foot. Don't forget to go back and double check and read the question to make sure you've answered correctly. Thank you for watching, and please let me know if you have any more questions.